So we're going to start with Norman, just because it was wild. It was weird. We'll talk about that in a bit. But Unite Norman rolled out hard. So here is the Norman transcript. Unite Norman members, Norman Police Department supporters have filled the municipal building, the site of tonight's to capacity. Supposedly there were 500 people outside. Don't really know what they were so upset about, but you know, that's kind of their MO. So anyway, my tweet for that is remember the time that Norman Police Department kicked a homeless man out of the hospital and accused him of faking his illness, and then he died 2 hours later. Same kind of energy from the Unite Norman crowd. Don't know what you're protesting, don't know what you're mad about, don't really care. You're just intimidating assholes that were mad that you couldn't win more seats, so you still don't have enough votes on the city council to actually do anything. Welcome to our world. And yeah, you're gonna sit there and spend 4, 5, 6. I mean, I think the meeting ended at 2:30 in the morning. You know, you're gonna spend 6 hours there getting your asses clapped. So, you know, cool. Must feel great. The only thing that's different is that, you know, in Oklahoma City, we're trying to say, like, tell the police stop killing people and like do a better job and maybe fund some alternatives. And in Norman, it's like the argument is you want the police to kill more people. Like, you know, like you want more of this, like where 2 police officers go. And somebody linked the article. And again, I can't really show you, but if you go to our Twitter, you can see the person. I hadn't heard about this incident before, but it sure seems awful for cops to mock a guy for being unwell, haul him away from the hospital, and for the man to die untreated 2 hours later. And it's like, yeah, it's real bad. And the video is horrifying. I remember watching it at the time. I mean, the cops basically just sit there, call him a liar, make fun of him, and yeah, and then he dies. So, I mean, they were literally just mocking a dying man for the crime of trying to get treated at a hospital and not having money. You know, for me, like, what it comes down to is like, I wouldn't treat my, like, worst enemy that way. Like, I mean, I just think that's disgusting behavior. But then for the police who, like, you know, want to be heroes and, you know, take all these pictures about giving coats to poor kids and, you know, doing athletics and shit like that. It's like, man, if you can't treat a dying homeless man with, like, just basic dignity, I don't know how to help you. Like, I'm at a loss here, guys. And it's just funny because, like, this is a recurring theme, of course, right? And we'll get to it a little later with Oklahoma City. But anyway, this is Norman we're talking about. So, yeah. So, live update from Norman City Council. You know, meeting kicked off around 6:30. 5:45, there was already a ridiculous number of people here. You know, this bullshit of, like, whoever's the loudest clearly means you have the most support, which is objectively not true in Norman because the Norman City Council still is not a majority of Unite Norman people. Like, the Unite Norman people did not get a majority and still do not possess a majority. But, you know, they do not lack in wishful thinking. So anyway, they're going to discuss 14 budget amendments. Public will be limited to 15 minutes in favor of each amendment and 15 minutes against. Each speaker gets 3 minutes to talk. It's very limited public comment there, but, you know, the meeting went till like 2:30 in the morning, so it might have had something to do with the Unite Norman people being there. Anyway, update at 10:40. The council voted, started voting on amendments. They voted down a thing about a participatory budgeting process. So anyway, 1:50 a.m., the council approved amendment to allocate $500,000 towards a mobile crisis response unit. The money will not come from the police funds as originally proposed. They just diverted it from the general fund. You know, while it's definitely wussing out, at this point, it's like, can we just get something better? And then the 14th final budget amendment directs $630,000 reallocated from the police budget last year toward a mobile crisis response unit. until, or unit pilot program, sorry. The council approved that amendment 8-1 and now moves into discussion about the budget overall. And at 2:50, they passed the budget. 2:50 a.m. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what Unite Norman thinks they got out of this. My deal with these things is again, what are you fighting for? I mean, it's just this idea that like the only style of policing we can possibly implement is like the most brutal, repressive, violent, ridiculous policing imaginable. Because that's what America has. We have the most violent, ridiculous, repressive policing like in the world. Like our police are so far beyond what any other country has going. So, you know, it's one of these things where it's just, you know, we have the real problem. Like, we are the major problem. And we are choosing not to address it and just keep doubling down on it. And like the people that are supporting that, like that's what you're supporting. You're supporting policing in its existing form, which is doing all of this, like has all these objectively bad things. Like they don't solve a lot of crimes, they kill lots of people, it's needlessly violent, it's extremely expensive, you know, all these issues. You know, if any other institution that we had was doing this, like you would be like, maybe we should reassess this and try something different. But not policing. Like here, it's like we just want to keep doubling down on it. So, anyway, sorry, just making sure the Facebook was up so I could see it if anyone commented. So anyway, that was Norman. You know, probably not the most inspiring outcome, but at least, like, what I do think is funny, and now we'll get to Oklahoma City, is that they directed $630,000 for their pilot program. A city that is 1/4 the size of Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City ended up directing $300,000 to a pilot program. So, I mean, just to give you a little idea of, like, the difference in politics.